Welcome to this film about the history of my company, Harry Grant & Sons, now called Grants of Devon Ltd. In this film, you'll see the machinery we use, the materials we use, and a restoration of an onyx casket. Harry Grant & Sons started in the early 1800s with Joseph Grant Sr. He then passed it on to his son, Henry Grant. Henry Grant passed it on to his son, William Henry Grant. William Henry Grant then passed it on to his sons, Harry Frank Grant and William Henry Godfrey Grant. It was then passed on to Harry Grant and Godfrey Grant, and then it was passed on to Gregory Grant Halliday. From there, it was passed on to his son, Mark Halliday, and from there, it was passed on to his nephew, Martin Grant Halliday, which is me, and hopefully my 4-month-old son, Sam. We only work with natural stone because there's such a natural element to it. The characteristics are always unique, and modern stones come in slab form and it's more or less stone dust and glue, and it just doesn't have quite the same feel to it, whereas these natural products, there's just so much going on with them that I don't know why you'd want to use something different. We source our stone from mainly Europe and Italy, where quite a lot of it comes from. We get quite a lot from France and Spain as well as using quite a lot of English stone. We get most of our slabs and new stones from UK suppliers who import it from all around the world. However, a lot of our stone we use, our small lumps and small bits, are stuff we've had for decades and decades that we've just kept from the bygone years. Yes, we still work with malachite. We make veneered trophy bases, and we use our malachite to restore antique clocks and tabletops as well. This is a malachite pen rest which we made back in the 50s or 60s. It's a malachite veneer on an Ashburton black marble, and the malachite is veneered out of blocks that look like this, and this is how it comes out of the ground. So it's all lumpy, and this is how it's quarried. It doesn't look like very much, but when you cut it and you create a face, you get this lovely striped veining, which you can then slice up really thinly to make veneer like this. So here we have some Egyptian porphyry. It could be quarried by the Romans. It's the same way they would have quarried it all them years ago. You can tell this by the grooves in the cutting face, which was done by a metal blade cut with sand and grit and flint and that kind of thing, and it would cut like this at a rate of half an inch an hour, perhaps, maybe slower, and that's how you get these lovely grooves in it. And it's really, really hard, so that's not to be trifled with. And then this is how it comes out of the ground. It comes out all lumpy, a bit like the malachite here. And again, what we can do with it is then we can cut it and we can create these beautiful obelisks out of it with moulded details and panelling. Joseph Grant was a marble worker who moved to St Marychurch parish from Broadhempston. Initially, he worked at Pettitor Quarry with Daniel Woodley, but in 1836 he established his own stone polishing workshop. The business was considerably expanded by his son and successor, Henry Grant. He had been apprenticed under Daniel Woodley and had been stone polishing and making jewellery. In 1847, he joined with his brother Joseph Jr., taking on a freehold plot in Watcombe, where they built a house, a workshop and 6 cottages. The workshop produced polished fossil specimens, jewellery and a wide range of veneered and mosaic objects made with local stones and malachite. So back in our heyday, we had over 100 members of staff. We had 10 or 12 members in the offices. We had 10 or 12 working in the silversmith area and the goldsmith area. We had blacksmiths working the forges, where we used to make our own turning tools and our own stone working tools. We had people working the saw, where they used to cut big blocks of marble into smaller pieces for us to work, to make jewellery boxes and ashtrays and items like that. We had people working on the polishing beds, where they would polish and finish the items, and we had people who would assemble, their job was to purely assemble the items. As well as that, we also had people that would restore items. So if items came to us that we had made that had broken or become damaged, we would repair them as well. Some of the biggest things we have done include work for the royal family, where we made quite a lot of items for the doll's house that was made. We made lots of the miniature fireplaces. We did the moulding on the exterior of the doll's house, as well as lots of items in the bathrooms. We have done work for current and ex-prime ministers over the years, where we've made a pen rest like this one here for one of the prime ministers back in the 50s, and as well as restoring a fireplace for more recent prime ministers. One of our other biggest jobs in the more recent years was working for a Saudi prince, where we panelled his entire bathroom in a stone called lapis lazuli, and that was a really big job for us. Now let's go see some of the machinery that we use in our day-to-day working life. Here I'm using the saw to cut a piece of marble into a square. We use this for cutting middle-sized pieces and small items. This saw has been used for 40 years, and we bought this saw brand new in 1983. From here we then go on to the snake wheel, which is this grinding wheel. This grinding wheel is the same one that was been used since 1840, I think. It used to be powered by an overhead cam belt, but now it's powered by a separate motor, and we use this pretty much every single day. The only thing that's really changed are the grinding wheels themselves. Here we have our slab saw. We use this for cutting big sheets of marble. We can use this for cutting blocks of up to 6 inches. This will cut at a length of 2.5 meters and as long as you like. The saw runs forward and backwards only, leaving us a nice parallel cut. So this is our turning lathe. So with this lathe we can turn columns of up to 1.5 meters, we can turn bowls, we turn trophy bases on here, we can turn up to diameters of 30 centimeters, so we can do quite a lot with this lathe, and we can polish on here too. We make quite a lot of products for lots of different clients over the country. Most of our work goes through London, and we do things like fireplaces, we do tabletops, we do radiator covers, we do everything from trophy bases for silversmiths to fireplaces for interior designers, and even shower trays and shower panelling and items like that. Everything from big to small. Here is an onyx casket which was made for the Torbay Council to present to new freemen of the borough. These boxes were made around 1961, and here this one has unfortunately broken. Here I am undoing the screws. Now behind these screws will be wooden dowels. The hinges are shellacked on, which is a form of glue. So here I am scraping that out so I can get the hinges apart. Here I am removing the first side of the onyx. Now here I am removing the second side of the onyx. Now that the joint is open, I can see that there is some dirt and grime in here, so I'm cleaning it with a dry, clean toothbrush. Now that these are apart, I am placing them down face down on the brass rods to ensure a flat face when gluing back together. Here I am using a specialist marble glue. It's a 2-pack glue similar to epoxy.
Here I am mixing this glue ready for assembly. Now that I've mixed my glue, I'm placing it a thin amount on the join and putting it face down on the brass rods and pressing together. Once the glue has set and gone off, I am now able to rub back the excess glue and get it ready for finishing. Here is the assembled and finished box.
I feel privileged and honoured to work for a company that's been around for 190 years old, because it's my family and my history, and I enjoy the privilege of moving this company forward in the next years. I believe the legacy of Grants as a company is the items that we make and restore, which are now trapped in history across the UK and all over the world.